Hey everyone, it's Steven from Level 1 Sword. It has been a while. While I've been enjoying some much needed R&R, I came up with a few new ideas to maybe make these videos better. I'd really appreciate the feedback if you think it's a good change to see me on camera,
or maybe I should hide myself away, never to be seen again.
Either way, let me know, and I wanted to say really quickly that there will be a spoiler review up later this week. But for now, please enjoy this spoiler-free review in the meantime. And with all that nonsense out of the way... In the post-Endgame wake that the MCU currently finds itself in, I was admittedly surprised to have a Spider-Man movie released so close to the monumentally satisfying conclusion to the Infinity Saga. I mean, Sony and Marvel could have really messed up the MCU with this movie serving as the tail end of the Phase 3 movies, especially when dealing with a classic Spidey villain like Mysterio, but the gamble paid off thankfully, and we have been served well with an overall outstanding Spider-Man flick. We can't start this review without of course addressing a major plot point from Avengers Endgame, so yes, there will be spoilers from the previous MCU film. If you're like me and tend to look at trailers for tones and plot points, I was somewhat worried that most of the conflict Peter would have to face would be dealing with Tony Stark's death. While Tony's passing did have a massive impact on the plot of Far From Home, it wasn't in a way in which I had expected. It happened organically and honestly explains why events happened in the sequence that they did. Remember, the entire MCU continuity just had a 5-year time leap, which may lead you to believe that all has been quiet on the supervillain front during that time. The death of a major figure like Tony would likely shake things up, as certain evildoers may see an opportunity to make a name for themselves now that the world is missing its Iron Man. All that to say, the plot fits naturally and sensibly within the aftermath of Endgame. Does Far From Home undo some of the strange and downright stupid decisions made in Homecoming? Some yes, some no, but I will say that this Spider-Man movie succeeds in surpassing its predecessor in both the action and comedy. Although why that huge scene from the trailers with the Iron Spider suit in action webbing up criminals was cut, I'll never understand. MJ has been toned down slightly. Instead of a left-leaning SJW, now she's just a weird girl who's kind of obsessed with the macabre. And while I would consider that an improvement, the actress still hasn't struck me as a legit MJ. And the romance between her and Peter seems a little forced. Mysterio is done well. If you are familiar with the character, you won't be disappointed, and if you aren't, you'll be in for some big surprises. There is an aspect to Mysterio that came out as a little disappointing, but I'll save that for the spoiler review. I will say that while they left some intriguing setups at the end of Homecoming, they didn't do anything with it here, so that was kind of disappointing. There are some fantastic mid and post-credit scenes that you need to stick around for. They are both supremely important to the plot and reveal some very important characters into the story. I'd say one of the scenes will change the way you see the movie on a second viewing, but that's all I'll say for now. Overall, this is a great sequel to Homecoming and a fantastic way for the MCU to continue. Although, I don't really understand why Marvel considers this to be the last Phase 3 movie instead of Endgame, especially when Homecoming is also a part of Phase 3. Although I guess Iron Man 1 and 2 were both a part of Phase 1, so I guess I can let that point slide. They did the same thing with Ant-Man at the tail end of Phase 2, and that made no sense either, so I'm really not sure what they're thinking over there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a comment, liking, sharing, and of course, subscribing.